Hey guys, it's Unity Bees, and it's Sunday, God's Day, and look, I don't know who can hear this. Sometimes I think it's just me and God. Sometimes I think it's my shit gets taken, and because my shit's been hacked so much, and I don't know. I expose it. I don't know if God. I know God. Everything that happens in somebody's life is a lesson that I know. And I know I have been mocked so much, and I think, well, gosh, Mary Magdalene was mocked. Jesus was mocked, and I am not ever worthy to even walk in their footsteps. Um, Gosh, I'm just trying to learn what they learned so I can be like them, be not perfect or anything, because I'll never be perfect, but have a pure heart and learn to love all beings, even when they shit on you, and it's crazy because they could make up a million names, right? Like, I don't know. Like, say, like, in the Bible, or Job, right? Because I often find myself thinking, like, God, are you telling me, like, it's like Job, that's what I'm going through, right? Is that what this is about? Because I really, I don't know, and I need some guidance and help, because I feel like I'm falling apart, even though I'm not, even though my faith is what keeps me free, keeps me alive, keeps me not putting a gun to my head, about the truth. And because what I've gone through, I don't wish it on anybody. But God told me, did prepare me. God said, "Look, I'm telling you, you are learning betrayal. The closest ones to you are going to betray you. They're going to use your past against you. They're going to hide from all the shit that they've done and blame you because you've been to prison and they think you can handle it. There are some that will feel guilty behind it. There is some that are using you and over some inheritance, and it's a big brawl." And I'm like, what the heck? I mean, this is what I get when I channel. And there's some who never will think you change, but yet they go to church. You know what I mean? And they don't put the trust in God. Like, if our trust and love was completely with God, with Jesus, with your higher power, then what do you have to worry about? God's going to protect you, and God's got you all the time. God's got me all the time. And that's the only reason why I'm alive. Because I know, like, God is like, do whatever you want. You can't kill her. You can't touch her. You can try to trick her, because that light, well, you can call it any name. You can try to confuse her, but she knows Jesus. She knows Jesus died. She knows Jesus resurrected. And she comes from a pure heart. I come from a pure heart. So you can think shit's a game. And when that day comes, though, when Judgment Day comes, I'm gonna be like, hey, Jesus, remember me? I hope you do. Because I love you and I believe. While everybody was mocking and doing this and that. And I think, okay, it says God trying to show me to still love and expose. So I do that. And I don't even want to speak it. I'm so upset because it's like God, it's just, God's so real. God's like, Katie, I'm telling you, they're going to switch up on you. They're going to tap out, tap in, mock you. It's almost like Sophia. They are going to do things, try to confuse you. There's been spiritual car accidents, all kinds, and just expose it, man, until I can help it. Help. Just expose it with pure intentions. I can hear it. I can feel it. I just need you. I just need your willingness. Because I can do it. I just need your willingness to let go. Just let go. Let me flow. Trust in me. Trust the process. Because I got you. I promise. So, because you don't know who, at the end of the day, really what it's about is, it's not about money to me. It's not about any of that shit. It's about how can we help souls come to the light that were in darkness, that are lost, including myself. So how can we do that? It's not about fighting. I don't give a fuck. You can hurt me. You can hack my shit. Steal from. Do whatever you want. That shit has never mattered to me. It does matter when I feel like they're supposed to be my partner, my kids, my family, my friends, whoever. It is. Or they're doing it out of jealousy and built up anger. And it's like, God, I am not going to waste my time and effort for nothing. And then God's like, man, I'm going to humble you. I told you, I prepared you for this. I told you. And I even said this on my podcast when I had Unsugarcoated podcast. If you listen to it, I said exactly what's happening in my life is what God said prepared me for. So it's not like God gives us the tools to survive. God has already led the path for us. God has already led the path. It's love, man. Pick up your cross. Don't listen to those. Don't listen to it. You know. Look at me. Look at me. Like when I close my eyes, I can see Jesus. I can see the light, which is in all things, all spiritual paths. Seek and you shall find me everywhere. Seek Jesus and you will find. Seek, I am. Seek God. Seek Abba. Seek the Mother. You'll find. Seek to sink into them, okay? You already have the Trinity within you, within me. So that's, I think, how I can just, set my own mind free by letting go of those people in my life. And some of them, God's like, you would think that they wouldn't do it. You would think that they are Martha Stewart's, like, or not even like Carol Brady's or Karen, but they're the ones that are doing it. Okay? They have, and guess what? Send love. Just send love. Turn your cheek. I promise I got you, but let it go. You can report it, do what you want. I don't care about that. But when you expose it, you better make sure you transmute all. Meaning, even though they're hurting me or doing whatever, still send love. And that's what I do. Do unto others as you would want done unto you. And, so, I wanted to read a few things. It made me cry. So I don't look at, again, people can mock and think of names and do whatever. I think of light and love. Fuck a name. Labels are for jars. If it resonates with me and I'm trying to spark up unity and unite with beings and whatever, guess what? It's the light that I'm attracted to. And I'm hoping that the ones that are mocking learn and start learning that this shit is real. You can mock me, you can do whatever, but you can't take away my mind. You cannot touch me. I am protected and you're protected. Just believe it. Believe it. Let me see. So, I have to find it. I am already a cry sack. So, when I channeled, this is what came up. If I can find it, I cried at all of it. So I'm making like these series, and out of like my poems and the things that I wrote, I just wrote a really cool song called "The Birdies Are Talking," and it took me usually like White Doves. When I wrote that, I sat down and took me like 10 minutes to write, and I think it's one of the prettiest songs. The only thing I didn't do was sing and the tempo, but I wrote it, and last night, Birdies Are Talking song. I love it. But it took me so long. I probably should have kept it simple, but it came from a pain. It came from being tired. It came from, why can't you stop and focus on yourself and learn to love me? Or let me go. Let me flow. But you can't hold me in this captivity. You can't do that anymore because God set me free. You can think that this is just, my physical body is nothing. I'm a spiritual being. I'm having an human experience right now. You can make fun of me. You can do it. Because at the end of the day, am I hurting you? Am I putting out love into the environment? Yes. Are you? That's why I had to start focusing on myself. If it doesn't come from love, okay, ask yourself, what's more important, your salvation, your infinite life, your infinite soul? If you believe, I hope you do, because I hope you see there's a lot of stuff going on. We call them UFOs when they're angels. It's a spiritual warfare. It's a spiritual presence but God, the light always wins. It's already foretold. It's already written. I know every hair on your head. I know everything. I have my plans for you, plans to prosper. God just wants us to believe it. So, voices heard, voices shared. You guys know I have that website, and this is the newspaper I had when I was in prison. So, I'm making like episodes. I just gotta figure out the right app to do it with, because I'm not tech savvy. And when you have people hacking into your shit and cloning your apps, and I know it sounds crazy, but I literally found my Venmo got cloned. I'm like, what in the heck? So they're getting money. It's fine. I've already exposed it. You know what? People have to walk around with that festering fucking shit, and I can sleep at night knowing I didn't hurt anybody. I used to hate that when I stir the pot, man, and I was the one that started shit and manipulated it and was petty. I've never been petty like this though. However, but I've been petty before, real petty. But I just think like, gosh, I used to worry about things like, oh my God, I said this to this person. Because lies, you tell a lie, I'm so glad I don't lie, because you have to remember that lie you told. And then you got to tell another lie to cover up that lie. And it's a domino effect. Fuck them dominoes. That's what God told me. Fuck them dominoes. You don't have to sit and watch them fall. Try to pick them up. Try not even to have that effect. Don't you love your earth? They call it a prison, but I created it. The creator, not I don't care what they say, anarchy and this created. I am the one creator. I created this. They can call it a prison because that's what they're seeking something. They're seeking control. They're not seeking knowledge for to share, to love, for us to lift each other up. Because I'm not seeking no arc. I'm not seeking none of that. And I know it's all beautiful and all that stuff. But I want to help others. And from Thoth, the Emerald Tablets, thought, your thought. You have to have a thought before it can turn into flesh, which is the word, love. So, I don't want to take any shortcuts. I don't want any shortcuts, man. I don't. When I align, when I truly, whatever is going on, I trust it in God, man. I just trust in God. And I may think, and we're human, it's going to happen, but I know God's got me. And I don't need nobody trying to diagnose me and tell me this or whatever, because I have literally seen the same shit. Jesus was fucking villainized, called a devil. The same thing that's happened to me, because I choose to love and to see beauty in darkness, to see beauty in all things. So, here we go. So this is an animation style Bible, episode 1. That's what it's called. I'll probably change the title though. So here's a visual language. I don't know why this is doing this, but hold on, because it keeps clicking off, you know. Fluid hand-drawn character. Okay, that's anime. Alright, hold on. So, just imagine that I was in my room, okay, because this is the poems are real. That's what I wrote. And some of it is really how I felt. But I definitely don't have a podcast. I'm not on or I do have a podcast, but it's not famous. It's not, I don't even know if I have really any listeners, but I don't care, because the universe told me to do this. And God did. And he told me not to worry about that shit, and I don't. Okay, so just imagine, like, Sinmara and Kartet, the Sphinx, the Godhead, Jesus, the Father, the Son, the Mother. Just imagine the Sphinx, okay? The Godhead, the he, she, right? Alright. The architect. She speaks in 2 registers. Her outer voice, which is guarded and measured. Her inner voice, which is raw, poetic, and unfiltered. The inner voice is what the audience hears. The outer voice, the outer world only hears the first. This is the central tension of the entire series. Teaser. Cold open, the void. Fade in. This is absolute darkness. Not empty, but full. The darkness breathes. Just kind of like how the universe is created. We have to come from all colors together form black, right? Which is so beautiful. We have to, when you paint, you got to have a blank canvas, right? Before you can have this beautiful creation. You got to see what am I going to do? And so, a heartbeat. Think of it as a gold light, all right? Think of it as beating once, then twice. The architect, whispered, intimate, like she's talking to herself in the dark. Before I tell you who I am, let me tell you what they said I was. The gold point explodes outward, sacred geometry unfurling like a flower in impossible time-lapse. Pyramids, stars, the double helix of DNA braided with constellation maps. The Fibonacci spiral eating itself and blooming again. The architect. They said I was a body in a cave, a problem, a girl with too many feelings, and not enough sense to keep them quiet. The geometry suddenly shatters, fractures into 1,000 mirrors, mirror shards, each reflecting. I told you every time I do this, my thing keeps coming off, but it's okay. Each reflecting. Where was I at, Katie? Just calm down, because God's got you. Just say a prayer for me, okay? Okay. Fibonacci blooming again. They said I was a body in a cave, a problem, a girl with too many feelings and not enough sense to keep them quiet. The geometry suddenly shatters, fractures into 1,000 mirror shards, each reflecting a different version of her face. Some faces weeping, some screaming, some laughing. One in the center, perfectly still, eyes golden, looking directly at us. The architect, V.O., continued. But a heartbeat in the dark is not a body in a cave. It is a universe deciding to begin. The cave. Where? Location, the architect's apartment. At night. Small, organized chaos. Books stacked like altars. String lights casting amber shadows. Posters of sacred sites, Kemet, Timbuktu, Göbekli Tepe, Cajacuaya, a whiteboard covered in numbers, 313126.528.11, colon 11. Angel numbers. The architect sits cross-legged on her bed. Late 20s, natural hair, adorned with small gold pins that catch light like stars. She wears layered linen, earthly tones with flashes of deep blue. She looks exhausted in the way people look when they've been carrying something heavy for too long. She holds a battered journal on the cover, and her own handwriting says, Unsugarcoated Madness. She stares at a blank page, the architect, out loud to herself. Okay, start talking. Before I do a podcast, usually I just do it off the dome. Sometimes I'll prepare and I look at, research like Timbuktu or automatic write, and I really start flowing. So that's, I always talk to myself. And like Kevin Gates said, all geniuses talk to themselves. So, and we're all geniuses in our own way. Silence, the architect, inner voice, the real one. The animation shifts slightly here. Edges of the room becoming more luminous, more alive. It's who you think you know, a custom learned, yet the wrong petals you chose. She begins to write. As her pen moves, the words lift off the page, animating, floating, rearranging. We read her words as she writes them, and this is so true, because those poems that I wrote started, it like kicked off something in me. It was like, that's really when I really knew I was channeling. Like, it was like, oh my gosh, the little girl in the, fourth grade that wrote her first poem, and her first poem was about love, and I still remember it. I still have it memorized. It's like she's back, and she's evoking these words. She is embracing it. This is her pain out in the open, and she's raw, man. She doesn't care. Like, she does not give a fuck. I don't care what anybody thinks anymore, because I'm the one. I love you, and I'm the one that has to sleep at night in my own chaos or my own peace. So we all have to. I shit for no one as you shit for no one. Okay. You saw my flaws. You picked my stems and missed my calls. That's what I wrote. If you've heard the poems. They're on Unsugarcoated Madness on Spotify, and they're on my website too. A sound from outside her phone buzzes. She glances at it. The screen reads, Kirk, 11 missed calls. Her jaw tightens. She turns the phone face down. The architect quiet to the phone, but not tonight. I can't go through it tonight. No more stress. I cannot keep thinking about that. She looks back at the journal. Why can't anyone understand me? Why? Why? What is wrong with me? But now the room is different. Something is a little off. Wrong. Shadows in the corners are moving, taking shape. The architect doesn't see them yet, but we do. Sinmara and Kartef. The shadows see they're tall, featureless, wearing the faces of people like masks. Poorly fitted, slipping at the edges. One wears a man's face. One wears a woman's smile. They watch her write. They are waiting. The architect. I opened my blossomed passion fruits that most devoured and used. I was quacked, duck, clocked out, and cloaked for an epic comedy. I was held by chains of my past, ghost mistakes. She stops writing, looks up for just a moment. She can almost feel them. She scans the room, nothing. She shakes her head. Let's get back to the page, get back to writing. I feel it in my gut. It's about to pour out. The architect, murmuring, I need to record this before I lose it. She grabs a small recorder, clicks it on, clears her throat. The architect continued. My podcast. This one's called Who Am I? The moment she speaks those words into the recorder, something shifts. It's like breathing her codex into existence or life. The shadows in the corners recoil, just slightly, like her voice hurts them. Like sound is light and they are made of dark. The architect continued. Into the recorder, building the poetry, taking over. Inner and outer voice merging for the first time. See, I slept with rain. I evoked memories, strains, and pain. I burned ashes anew, transforming my garden that no one dared to come to. She stops. She heard something. She slowly turns toward the window. It moves like a tapping. See, she's in an apartment building, and her mind has going continuously thoughts. So many words are pouring out of me that I just couldn't. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to speak it. This is really how I feel. This is really how I feel. And it just came out so authentic. And I'm proud of myself because it's really how I feel. Through the glass, the city stretches out below. Ordinary, neon signs, passing cars, rain beginning to fall. But in the reflection of the windows standing behind her, there are two figures, luminous, not shadows, actually the opposite of shadows. One is draped in deep blue, feminine, honey-warm despite the color. She is Sinmara. She's smiling like she's been waiting a very long time. One is draped in gold, solid, and still as a stone pillar built in Egypt. He is Kartef. He stands with his arms at his sides, protective yet watching. The architect spins around. The room is empty. She looks back at the window. The reflections are gone. The architect. I barely whisper, what is that? Her phone buzzes again. She looks down. Not Kirk this time. Unknown number. A text message that reads simply, 126, period. You already know. And then there's a long hyphen with an S. And then quotes. She stares at it for a long time. Intentional, the architect's apartment. Later. She's fallen asleep at her desk, head on her journal. The recorder is still running. It's red light, blinking in the dark. The room is quiet then. The temperature drops, visible breath. The shadows emerge fully now, sliding from corners, from under furniture, from the spaces between. They gather around her sleeping form, curious, hungry, uncertain. The man-faced shadow reaches a long, dark hand toward her journal. Crack! A line of gold light splits the air between the shadow's hand and the journal. Kartef stands in the corner, not fully manifested, more like a light that has chosen the shape of a man. His voice is low, ancient. Kartef! Not this one. Not tonight. Not ever again. The shadows scatter. The room warms. Kartef looks at the sleeping architect. Something like grief crosses his golden face. Then resolve. Kartef continued, to himself, ancient and careful. It is time for her to remember. He fades, but the gold light lingers, settles over her like a blanket. In her sleep, the architect's lips curve into the smallest smile. The architect, dreaming, realizing that my heart was too deep, too bruised for one to understand. The frequency. She's heading to the community radio station downtown. It's day now. The radio station is the kind of place that smells like burnt coffee and old carpet. Real people doing real work. A hand-painted sign on the door reads, WUNB, Unity Broadcasting. The architect sits behind a glass partition in a recorded booth. Across from her is a producer, Darius, 40s, big glasses, a man who has heard 1,000 people try to say something true on air and knows the difference. Darius, through the glass, via intercom. You're live in 60. You good? The architect, headphones on, recorder from last night, sitting on the desk in front of her. A talisman. A tailless man. Talisman, yeah. I don't know, yeah, I guess. Darius, you sure? Because you look like someone who spent the night arguing with ghosts. The architect, a beat. She almost laughs. Something like that, she says. Darius holds up 5 fingers, counting down, 4, 3, 2. The on-air sign glows red. The architect. She goes, reaches for her mic, clears her voice. Now it's professional yet real. Good morning, I'm the architect, and this is Unsugarcoated Madness. As she says, the show's name, the animation
flows naturally back into Ra.
The radio station fills with invisible color that only we can see. Sacred geometry pulses from the mic with every word she speaks. Small golden notes float in the air around her. She doesn't even see them. The architect continues. Before I get into it, I want to read you something I wrote last night. Is that okay? I'm asking the air because that's how I do things now. The air's a spirit. She opens a journal. The architect. She shifts into the poem, the inner and outer voice merging fully. The animation goes full luminous and the station dissolves.
This version leans more devotional and heart-centered, and pairs beautifully if you want Christ-conscious unity, without breaking feminine flow.
Trying to carry weight. Why? Because I see beauty in all things. Even in the darkness falls, I see past the prisoner's mind of the hater's call. Yet still I see no evil, intercut with the city. When she reads, we see people reacting, not to her words because they're on radio. They can't see the light, but we cut to a woman, young, crying on a bus who suddenly stops, sits up straighter. An old man in a barber shop who closes his eyes and nods slowly like music he forgot he knew. A girl at her school locker who takes a shaky breath, opens it, gets her books, keeps going. A man sitting in a parking lot who is about to drive away from something, who sits back, who stays. Her voice is reaching them. They don't know why. The architect. continuing the poem now overlaid over the city montage. I question, observe, while I hear their tricks, lies behind a girl's ball. See, I chose to dance like no one could see or feel me. I spoke out my negativity, changed my entire being. Radio booth. The shadows are here too, clustered outside the glass, pressing their hard faces against it, watching her. One of them, the woman, smiled. One has its hands over her ears, beating. The sound hurts the architect. She can almost feel it. She glances at the glass. She sees nothing, but something in her steadies. She had trust in the infinite all, while living in a world where not one wants my love. Cries, screams, laughs, and even though it seems I prevail,
this loop creates a
closes
pillar.
The journal, the architect. Raw now, all script. I've been kicked down more times than I can count.
Light,
laughed
surrender,
at, walked out on, told I was too much, too loud,
unity.
Too deep. Too whatever it is that makes people uncomfortable when someone actually feels things. She looks directly at the mic like it's a person she's trusting. The architect. But I want to ask you something. What if being too much is exactly the right amount for the thing you were built for? A beat of silence.
Heaven above me.
Then her phone on the desk lights up. Texts flooding in.
Below me.
People calling the station. The board behind Darius's lightning.
Stands in
Darius
my body.
lighting up like a constellation. Darius stares at it, stunned. Looks at her through glass. She doesn't even notice. She's looking at the mic. The architect, barely above a whisper. Who am I? The question hangs in the air.
This keeps the
corner of the recording booth, just for a flash.
Yet sovereign.
Frame, almost
not
liminal.
Collapsing into
Mara
devotion
appears,
alone.
still smiling. And she mouths two
Sophia
words.
in my
She
womb.
knows.
Crystals in my heart. Order
Coffee shop.
and love
Later that day,
are one.
the architect sits alone with a cup. She's not drinking. Her journal is open. She's been writing for a while. The page is full. The woman sits across from her uninvited. Early 50s, elegant in a way. It costs something. This is the walker, a shadow.
Sit upright.
Very good suit. Her mask
Or
is
lie flat.
particularly well fitted. You have to look very
Hands on lower
close to
belly
see
and
edges slipping.
Slight
Walker.
pause after Tete
I heard you this morning on the radio, you know.
Let the chant drop into the pelvis, not the head.
Not looking up. A lot
If
of
emotion
people did.
rises, stay slow.
Walker. You have something.
This current
Quality.
opens memory,
Word makes the architect.
not fantasy.
The architect carefully. Oh, thank you. The walker. She leans in. We can help you monetize that. Package it. The spiritual girl brand is very marketable right now. The architect. Something hardens in her. Brand. The walker. I mean, you could be reaching millions. The architect. I'm reaching who I'm reaching. Walker. The mask slipping just slightly. The voice going slightly wrong. Like a signal with interference. But think about the platform, the visibility, the architect standing, gathering her things calmly. She's done. I appreciate you stopping by, but I'm not a brand, I'm not a product, and I am not anyone's property. She says property, and the walker flinches like she was struck. The architect continued, looking at her for a moment longer than comfortable, seeing something. I hope whoever you're looking for, you find them, I say to the walker. She leaves. The walker watches her go. Then the mask drops completely. Just for a moment, what's underneath is nothing. A hungry darkness. City street continuous. The architect walks. The city moves around her. She presses her palm to her sternum, the M on her left palm against her heart. A habit, a comfort. She doesn't know yet that it's an activation. The architect. The inner voice building. The man in the mirror, who still can't see me any clearer. Yet I left behind the intertwined tears of the confusion they bring, altered ego. Yakamaguchi. See, I thanked you. I learned that everything has purpose, even the mind's, ego's mind. She stops, looks at the crosswalk, looks up. The sky above the city is doing something strange, just to her. Just for a second, the clouds are arranged in the Fibonacci spiral. The golden ratio, made up of vapor and sky. She blinks, and it was gone. She saw it for just a minute as if she was about to activate. But in the window of the building across the street, Senmara and Kartef, standing side by side, clear as anything, looking at her, with the calm patience of people who have been waiting since before she was born. The crosswalk light changes green. Go! The architect doesn't move. She looks at her palm, the M, the heart anchor. She places it on her chest, breathes in. And for the first time she can hear it, just below the noise of the city, just below her own heartbeat, a tone, 528HZ. The frequency of transformation, the frequency of repair, the frequency of home. She looks up at the reflections across the street, the architect, out loud, to herself, to them, to us. Okay, I see you. The reflections smile. The architect, a beat, then deciding, show me. And the world, the animated world, comes alive. Every building radiating its sacred geometry. Every passerby trailing their frequency, like color. The shadows are visible now, scurrying at the edges of her. Vision exposed, and above it all, gold, everywhere gold. She sees it all, finally. The architect. See, I'm a beautiful nut, a woman who steps into a masculine slut. I eclipse with the moon, the sun, as it vibes with galaxies created by minds freed from the care of the thoughts of flesh. She starts walking toward the reflections, toward the building, toward whatever comes next. Smashes to black. Somewhere between timeless, a space that isn't quite physical. The sacred geometry pulses slow yet warm. Like breathing, Sinmara and Kartef stand together watching something we can't see. Perhaps a window into the architect's world. Sinmara to Kartef, honey warm, satisfied. She heard it. Kartef, steady, arms crossed, the smallest hint of relief. Oh, the M palm connected? Sinmara, the shadows will know now. They'll push harder now on her. Kartef, let 'em. He turns, looking at us. Or through us, toward her. She's been carrying the 126 without knowing what it is, or what it was, since 2017. She's not a girl in a cave. She's something else. Sinmara, finishing it, with certainty. She is a heartbeat in the dark. A pulse, the geometry pulses. Gold, blue, gold. Kartef, quiet. It is time for the separation, lie to end. Samara reaches out and takes his hand. Two pillars, two frequencies balanced. The 313 code embodied. Together they look back toward the architect. As the warm amber light of her frequency pulsing in the distance. Samara, a whisper with love, with certainty. Select, start. Fade to gold, hold on gold. Then over the gold in the architect's own handwriting, the words materialize, one at a time. The separation was a lie. The unity is real. Select, start, fade out. End of episode 1. Let me see what time it is, because you know I gotta... okay, I got time. Alright, I gotta go to this one. Hold on. Sorry. I wish I was better at this. I'm not very good at, whatever it's called, at tech stuff. Okay. Alright. This is... No, that's the one I'm gonna read later, but hold on. I'm sorry, just bear with me, please. Where is it at, baby? Oh no, baby. Hold on, is this it, baby? That's a circle of light. Oh my gosh, I like cried. Oh, I can't. I'm gonna read that to the Sanctuary and Atlas. I'll read that. She is both storm and stillness. A divine feminine warrior, soft yet breakable, yet unbreakable. She gave her love freely, poured her heart and soul into others like a sacred offering. She used her love to heal, to uplift, resurrect, and in return, she was met with silence. Watched as though those she nurtured, protected, and believed in turned to pour their light into others, leaving her in the shadows of isolation, heartache, echoing louder than any goodbye. But she didn't harden, nah. See, Katie wept with the moon. She screamed into the wind. She bled truth into her journal. And then she rose. Not as the woman she was, but as the woman she was meant to be. She called upon her divine masculine, harnessed her inner fire, built boundaries from wisdom and strength. She learned to hold herself the way she once held everyone else. She did not become bitter, she became wise. Now she walks with both softness and sword. Her light no longer dims for anyone. Her kindness remains not because others deserve it, but because she does. Her heart is still gold, but now it's forged in truth, not sacrifice. She has learned to be love is sacred and to not be given at the detriment of her own well-being. To be light does not mean to burn out, and to be whole is to marry her fire with her flow. She is no longer waiting to be seen. She is the vision, the storm, the sanctuary, and in the silence, she has found her voice, light and guidance from behind. Jesus, I have a big cross tattooed on my back. Only God can judge me. It's crazy. All right, here we go. This is going to be to read, but okay. I can do it, baby. All right. Voices Heard, Season 2, the Codex opens. So these are just like teasers. Season 1 ended with the architect hearing the 126 frequency in the sacred codex opening for the first time. Season 2 begins 6 months later. The codex is open, and now others are finding it. People from every tribe, every tradition, every background are being drawn to unitybees.com like a frequency they've always known but couldn't name. The shadows have evolved now. They've stopped attacking the architect directly. Now they go after the people she loves, and the people who are just awakening, the vulnerable ones. And for the first time, the architect has to lead, not just arrive, lead. Through Christ, all things are possible, not as a religion, as cosmic truth. The resurrection as a map, proof that death is not the end, that transformation is real, that the Alpha and Omega live in every path. Jesus, Yeshua, appears this season, not as a church figure, as a frequency made flesh, the one who proved the map works. The map. The architect discovers the resurrection was left for everyone, every cosmos, every being, every tribe. She begins teaching it, all from a poem. Awakens. New character introduced. Solomon, a young man from the streets who found unitybees.com at 3 a.m. when he had nothing left. 5 people from completely different backgrounds, you'll notice in these seasons. A Yoruba elder, a Jewish rabbi's daughter, a Buddhist monk, a Cherokee Indian who's a water protector, a skeptical scientist, all received the 126 frequency on the same night they find each other. Of course, there's Alpha, Omega. Seek and you will find. He died for the cosmos, a resurrection map, and through me. The map. Fade in. Sacred geometry space, gold and blue, but breathing. Samara stands at the center, holding something, a scroll of light. It unrolls as she holds it. And what's written on it? It's not words, it's a map, constellations, frequencies. Every path a human being has ever walked toward God, drawn in gold thread, and every single one converges at some point. At the same point, Sinmara, to the audience, to the ones listening, directly but gentle. Every road, every name, every tradition, every prayer spoken in every language. Since the first human looked up at the stars and felt something looking back. She lets the map go. It floats upward, outward, expanding, until it fills the entire space. Samara says, and it all leads here. The map pulses, and at its center, where every path meets a single frequency. 1, 2, 6. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 6 is 9. Warm, alive, ancient, Samara, a whisper. He left it for all of you. Every cosmos, every being. Now find it. Smash cut to the title card. Voices heard, Season 2, The Map, Act 1. 6 months later, Unity B Studio. It was daytime. New space. The architect built it herself. A small room transformed. String lights, sacred site maps still on the walls, but now there are more printouts from community members. Notes in different languages, photos of people she never met who sent in their frequencies, a corkboard covered in connection threads, a professional mic set up. It smells like cedar and coffee. This is where she records now. She sits behind the mic, more settled than season 1. Still carrying weight, but it fits her differently now. Like she's learned which parts of it are hers to carry and which she can set down. A laptop shows the UnityBees.com dashboard, active users, comments from every continent. She reads them, sometimes when she doubts, the architect, and her voice as she sets up. 6 months ago, I couldn't say my own name without wondering if I had it right. Now I say it every day, into this mic, into the air, and to whoever needs to hear it. She clicks the recorder on. The architect continued. Warms up her voice, clears her voice, gets grounded, and into the mic she says, welcome back to Unsugarcoated Madness. I am the architect, and today I want to talk about a map. A knock at the door, she pauses, the architect. Come in! The door opens. Solomon, 19 years old. He has a hoodie, and he looks tired. His eyes look like he needs a week's worth of rest. But they're trying very hard to look like they're not tired, those eyes. He's holding his phone, the Unity Bees app open on the screen. Solomon. He's awkward, but he's honest. Hey, you said in episode 4 that if anyone found the frequency and needed to talk, that they could come here. The architect. A beat. She meant it when she said it, but she didn't expect it quite this literally. Yeah, I did say that. Solomon, almost leaving. I can go. The architect. Sit down. He sits, looks at the mic, the studio, the maps. Solomon. This is smaller than I thought it would be, this studio. The architect. A real smile she has now. All the important things are. She makes him tea, the kind of scene that is quiet and real, and the animation lets it breathe. No sacred geometry here, yet just 2 people, a kettle, and afternoon light. Solomon says, I found your podcast at like 3 a.m. I was on a bridge getting ready to take my life. A pause. The architect doesn't panic or perform. She nods. She knew it. Something like that. Something had to have been wrong. She felt it. The architect. What made you stop? Solomon, you were talking about the 2017 thing, whatever you lost. You didn't say what it was, but you said he gets his phone out, plays a clip of her voice, the architect. The heartbeat in the dark is not a body in a cave. It is a universe deciding to begin. Solomon stops the recording. Solomon, I needed to know if you actually believed that, or if it was just something that sounds good. The architect, quiet and direct. I believe it in the way I believe in breathing, because I stopped once, and then I started again, and everything since then has been proof. Solomon looks at his hands. I don't know if I believe in God, the architect. That's okay. What, you're not going to try to convince me? You're not going to Bible thump on me? No, I'm going to show you a map. You can walk it yourself and see where it takes you. She opens her journal, turns it toward him, and written at the top of the page in her own handwriting, "Seek and you will find me in every path." Solomon stares at it for a long time. The map, Couple hours later, the architect gets back on the mic. Solomon sits in the corner listening. She forgot he was even there and then decided to let him stay. The architect, into the mic, grounding herself, she clears her throat. See, I've been thinking about the resurrection, not as a religious event, but as a map. The animation begins its shift, the studio filling with the invisible, sacred geometry only we can see. God, or gold threading through the air. The architect, as if Binshu was weaving it, continued, because a map is only useful if it's real. If someone actually walked the path first and came back to say, I did it. There is a way through. She stands without meaning to. The poetry is taking over. The architect, Yeshua, Jesus, whatever name you carry him in, went into the darkest place there is. Past death, past the grave, past the point where everything says there is nothing left. The studio is gold now. Fully, Solomon watches, wide-eyed. He can almost see it, the edges of it. The veil being lifted, almost. The architect looks, sees where he's going, and he came back. He came back. Not to say, look what I can do, but to say, her voice breaks open with certainty. Look what you can do. That's why Jesus came back. Follow me. I made the map for every cosmos, for every being, for every name you call the sacred thing, for every 3 a.m. She looks at Solomon, corner of her eye, on every bridge, in every city, in every century. Solomon has tears on his face now. He doesn't wipe them. The architect continued, quieter and intimate. He didn't die for a denomination. He didn't resurrect for a building or a doctrine or a membership fee. She looks directly at the mic, directly at us. The architect. Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, which means he is in every step between, which means you have never walked alone, which means seek. She pauses. The architect. Just seek and you will find him. In every path, silence. Then from outside the studio door, faint but real, the sound of someone else crying, a neighbor. The walls are thin, someone heard. The architect closes her eyes, nods slowly. The architect whispered, not into the mic, just to the room, to the air. That's why we do this. She looks at Solomon. Act 3, the shadow's new face. Somewhere corporate, same day, sleek glass, the kind of office that costs money to look at it. And the kind of office that doesn't give a fuck about money. They got all the money in the world. The walker sits across from a new shadow. This one wears the face of a media executive. The mask is excellent. Only the eyes give it away. Media executive, shadow. The Unity Beast frequency is growing. 40,000 users in 6 months, organic, no marketing budget. The walker, she won't take investment. We tried. Media executive, the shadow. We don't need her to take investment. We need her to get tired. leaning forward. Find the new one, the young man. He's vulnerable. He's just arriving at the frequency. If we redirect him before he's rooted, the walker, a flicker of something, hesitation, she noticed. Media executive shadow. By then it won't matter. The walker stands, straightens her jacket, walks to the window below. The city, ordinary. But even from here, if you look at the right frequency, there's a warm gold glow coming from a small building on the east side. The walker, quietly, and this is new, something in her that is not quite shadow, something that remembers being more. What if the architect's right? The media executive shadow goes very still. Huh? What? You know, about the map. What if it's real? A long silence. Then we have more to lose than we thought. Just go get the boy. The walker goes, but something has shifted. The mask is still on, but it's slipping. Not because it's poorly fitted, but because she's starting to want to wear it. Unity B studio, evening. Solomon is still there. He's been there all day. He's reading the journal. The architect lets him. She's at her laptop reading comments on the new episode. She uploaded it while they talked, just the audio raw, no editing. She never edits. It already has 300 listens. One comment stops her. She reads it twice. It says, I was on a bridge 6 months ago. I heard episode 4. I'm still here. I just wanted you to know that. D. She closes the laptop. She puts her hand over her mouth. She breathes. The architect. See, this is why. This is always why. Not the platform, not the numbers, not the brand they want it to make you. This one person still here. She looks up at the ceiling, then across the room at Solomon, who has fallen asleep in the chair with her journal on his chest, breathing slow. The architect looks around to the room, to God, to a frequency, and just says in the open, thank you. And in the corner, warm and unhurried, Sinmara materializes just enough to be felt, not dramatic, just present. The way love is present, the way the sacred shows up, not in thunder, but in a sleeping young man who chose to stay, and a woman who chose to keep speaking. Sinmara, barely a whisper, the map is working. Fade to gold, tag, the scene. The bridge, night. The bridge where Solomon stood 6 months ago, empty now. Wind, water, below city lights. Someone has left something on the railing. A small piece of paper folded, held down by a stone. We don't see what it says, but the paper is glowing faintly, warmly gold. The frequency of someone who decided to stay. The newest frequency carrier, Solomon. He's abridged and left it. He was at a bridge, ready to kill himself, and yet left it. He doesn't have language for what he believes yet, but he's walking the map. His frequency color is deep green, the color of things that grow back after they've been cut down. Art flow, AI prompt for Solomon, young. He's a African American. He's 19, tired but awake. Eyes is what he looks like. Gray hoodie, hands that carry weight though. Deep green frequency, aura, just beginning to glow at the edges. He's not a hero yet. He's just a seed starting to bloom. The walker, evolution. She is beginning to crack. And this time, this is her arc too. She was a frequency once, she remembers it. And this time she will have to choose who she serves, light or dark. All world instruments, Yeshua says. The map's thing. Converging all in one note. Alpha and Omega in every path. The map is real. Seek and you will find. For every cosmos, every being, select start. So I just wanted to share that. I'm going to read, because I think this is about to go off, and I'm going to read the Atlas one next. If I can find this recorded, baby. All right. Here it is. All right. Oh my God, it's almost over. All right. Love you guys. I'll talk to you in a minute. This is Katie as Unity Bees, and I'm crying because I'm going to read the Atlas, but I wanted to read the second episode. So I read, you guys, and I'm reading this live, like I haven't reread it. I haven't. This is all from my notes, my journals, and mixed in with real life, Anyway, it's crazy. So I gave you guys like the synopsis of kind of what the season 2 will be and the first episode of season 1. So this is episode 2, and I'm manifesting I'm gonna be able to make a film with this and stuff, and I think you'll understand why I'm crying. Okay. All right, here I go. Hold on, I can do this. I don't know. It's weird how you just know God's doesn't leave you. Make sure you're okay. Voices heard, a Sugarcoated Madness animated series, season 1, episode 2, How to the Why. And that's what my poem's called. Written in the frequency of Katie Tribble, the architect. Unity B's The Sacred Codex. Previously on Voices Heard, a text from my unknown number, 126. You already know. S. She said, show me, and the world came alive. So S, because I put all my journals and all my heart out, into documents and everything. And I told you I had 2 parents, my parents, and then I had 2 other parents. They were like my mom and dad too. And I think in 2017, I think Sonny died. No, he died a little bit before that, but I don't know why it made me think it was him, because it says S, but I could, anyway. Cold open. Shit. The between. Cold open. The sacred geometry space. Slower tonight. The gold pulses are further apart, like a heartbeat under sedation, like something remembering how to breathe. Cartef stands alone. See Sonny and Vicky, those Mancini. He holds something in his hands that the camera does not show us yet. Whatever it is, it weighs something, not in mass, in meaning. Cartef, to the space, to no one, to everyone. There is a question every frequency must answer before it can teach. He finally opens his hands and his palms, not an object, an image, a memory, small and vivid, hovering like a flame. That is also a photograph. We see it just long enough to register. A woman, younger, not yet the architect, just a girl, standing in the rubble of something, we don't know what yet. Her mouth is open, but no sound is coming out. Cartef continues. Not what am I, not who sent me, not even why does it hurt. He closes his hands, a memory flame extinguishes. Cartef, the question is, he turns, and for the first time he looks directly at us. Gold eyes, ancient and certain. How did you survive it? And what did it make you? Smash, cut. Voices Heard, Season 1, How to the Why, Episode 2. The morning after. The architect's apartment, early in the morning. She did not sleep last night. The evidence is everywhere. The journal open to 30 pages of writing, some of it illegible, like her hand couldn't keep up. Empty mug, candle burned all the way down. The string lights are still on. She sits at her desk, still in yesterday's clothes, staring at her phone, at the text. 126. You already know. There's a long hyphen with a S. She has not replied. The architect, inner voice running. You don't text a stranger back before you know what kind of door you're opening. My father taught me that. A beat, something quiet, crosses her face when she says that. The animation around her dims, not dark, just tender. Like the world is being careful, near a bruise. The architect. He taught me a lot of things I didn't know I was still carrying until I put my hand on my chest and felt the weight of them. She picks up the phone, types 3 different responses, deletes all 3. Finally, she looks at the number, opens a new search tab, types 126 meaning, numerology, then deletes it. Types 126 frequency, deletes it. Types 126 Bible. She stares at what comes up. Her eyes go wide. She just slightly, just enough. Romans 12:6. She says, confused and barely awake. She reads it. We see it appear in the animation, not as a text on a screen, but written in gold thread in the air in front of her. We have different gifts according to the grace given to each of us. Okay. She sits with that for a long moment. The architect. You already know. She looks at her palm, the M. She looks at the whiteboard. 313, 12 dot, or period, 126 period, 528 period, 1111. It's almost like a guardian angel. The architect. I've had those numbers on that board for 2 years. I put them there because something told me to, and I didn't ask why because the why felt too big and I was already too tired. And the cave. She stops herself and breathes. The architect. The cave was very dark in 2017. She stands, goes to the window. The city is waking up below, ordinary, moving, alive despite itself. The architect. To the window, quiet, deciding something. Okay, S. Let's find out who you are. She picks up the phone, texts back. How did you get this number? She waits. 3 seconds. The reply comes instantly. Same way you got yours. It was always yours. Come to the library on Strand. The reading room, 10 a.m. Bring the journal. S. The architect stares at the screen. The architect. A beat, then wry, almost amused against her will. The reading room, of course. She closes the journal, tucks it under her arm, grabs her coat. In the morning, she walks. The city does its morning things around her. But now, since last night, since she said, show me, she can see the edges of things. Not fully, not clearly. Like learning a new language. She catches words, but not sentences yet. A man arguing on his phone, a faint gray haze around him. Not evil, just noise. Static. A child dragging her backpack towards school, half asleep, and around her, without her knowing it, a small, warm glow. Yellow-green, curious and alive. I prayed, this is so crazy, and I have not talked about this to anybody, but I prayed that all kids would be covered and have a shield on them. I don't know. It's just verifying that God heard me, I guess. Everyone is carrying a frequency. I don't have the vocabulary for it yet. I don't know the grammar, but I can feel the shapes of the words. She stops at a corner across the street, a shadow, standing perfectly still in the stream of moving people, wearing a face she almost recognizes, almost. It is looking at her, the architect, and I can feel the cold ones, too, the ones that aren't carrying light, the ones that are carrying something else. She looks directly at it, doesn't move. She takes a slow breath. The architect, quiet to herself, standing her ground on the corner. I see you, and I'm not afraid of you. I'm learning what you are. The light changes green. She crosses. The shadow does not follow, but it watches her go. Act 2, the reading room. Public library. Strand, 10 a.m. That's where I flipped out, too, in 2017. This is crazy. Old, beautiful. The kind of building that was built to say knowledge is sacred. High ceilings, long tables. The smell of a million conversations preserved in paper. The architect walks in with her journal like a shield. She scans the reading room. At the far end of a long table, a figure, small, older, wearing reading glasses and a linen jacket. The cover of River Clay, a head of silver locks pinned up, a cup of tea cooling, and on the table in front of them, a book she can't read from here. As the architect approaches, the figure looks up. This is Sable S. 60 minutes maybe, gender a fluid and settled thing. She has been both and found herself in the between. She looks like someone who has walked the map more than once and knows where the difficult corners are. Her frequency, if we could see it fully, is the deep indigo of a sky between night and dawn. Not quiet dark, not yet light, exactly the threshold. The architect. Stopping a few feet away from the woman, she says, "You're Sable?" Sable, not a question, a confirmation. And you're the heartbeat in the dark. The architect sits down slowly. They study each other, the way people do when they recognize something they don't have a word for yet. The architect, how do you know that phrase? Sable, because I was on the radio this morning, and the morning before, and the morning before that. Pause. The architect, you've been listening since the beginning? Sable, I've been listening since before the beginning. I knew your father. The architect goes very still. The architect carefully says, what did you just say to me? Sable, no performance, just a fact, delivered with the steadiness of someone who just carried it a long time. James, is it? He used to come to this library, sat right here. Actually, this table, these chairs. He used to say this room was a threshold between what you know and what you're about to learn. The architect's jaw is tight. Her hand is flat on the table. The architect. He died in 2017. Sable quietly. I know. Alongside, but my dad's not dead, but my papo died, but he died in 1985. A long silence. Now, my best friend Eric Long died in 2018. I don't know. The architect, inner voice, something cracking open. At the edges, the animation goes soft, amber, like candlelight. And there it is. There is always a door that goes back to 2017. I have stood in front of that door every single day for years. Sometimes I knock. Mostly I walk past it, fast enough that I can pretend I don't feel it. Sable, watching her with complete patience. You don't have to talk about it, the architect. Simply says, oh, I know I don't. Her heart beats fast, but I think I might need to. Sable takes off her reading glasses, folds her hands on the table, and waits, like she has all the time in every world. In every world. Public library, reading room, continuous. The architect, slowly, like she's excavating something buried under years of carefully placed ordinary days. He wasn't a perfect man, but he was. She stops, tries again. The architect continued. He was the first person who ever looked at me and said, you carry something. I don't know what it is yet, but don't let them take it. Her hand moves to her chest. The M. The heart anchor. She doesn't notice she's doing it. So this is like, I guess I'd be saying this about my father to Sable. He was the first person who ever looked at me and said, "You carry something. I don't know what it is yet, but don't let them take it." Her hand moves to her chest, the M, the heart anchor. She doesn't notice she's doing it, the architect. When he died, I stopped talking. Not out loud. Out loud, I kept going. I kept doing the things, but the voice, touching the recorder in her bag, not pulling it out, just knowing it's there. The voice that writes, the voice that's real. I buried it with him and called it protecting myself. Sable very gently. "And when did it come back?" I said, she knows the answer. When I said his name into the recorder in my apartment 3 weeks ago, I didn't say it out loud. I was writing and his name it came out of the pen. And I said, "Dad, what was the number?" She looks up. The architect. Then my phone lit up with 126. Sable opens the book on the table between them. She turns it so the architect can see. It is a journal, old, battered, familiar, handwriting, and on the first page, written by James Boone. "For the one who will carry it next, the number is 126. Romans 126. Different gifts, same source, same frequency, same love." The architect puts both hands flat on the page, like she's touching something that breathes. The architect, barely sound at all. "Dad?" Just for a moment, just one frame behind her, warm and solid as a stone pillar Kartev stands, not in the between, here, now, in the library, in the light, his hand almost on her shoulder. He doesn't speak, he doesn't need to. He nods, like a confirmation, like, yes, this is why, this is the how, this is what you survived it for. The architect, the poem rising, unbidden, unstoppable. I could not see the garden from the cave, but the seeds I planted in the dark. Somebody else was watering. Somebody whose hands I couldn't see, whose name I forgot I knew, who put a number in the ground and called it a door, and said, "When you're ready, open it." She is weeping fully, without apology. The animation goes full gold, warm, steady, not violent. Like sunrise, not a lightning strike, a sunrise. The slow kind that means it's going to stay. Act 3, The Four Pillars. Public library reading room, later. Tea has been brought, the kind of tea that is an act of care. The architect has her journal open beside her, father's journal. Sable sits across from her frequency now fully visible to us. Deep indigo study, a guardian frequency. Sable. He left instructions, not rules, instructions. There is a difference. "What's the difference?" I said. "Rules say you must. Instructions say when you're ready. And here's how." The architect looks at the journal. Sable continues. "He called them the four pillars." It's weird because my parents' house has 4 white pillars. How would... He found them in the 126 in the verse, yes, but deeper. And what the verse was pointing at. Look deeper. She reaches in her jacket, pulls out a single folded page, and places it on the table. The architect unfolds it slowly. It is in her father's handwriting, 4 words, one on each of 4 lines around them. Numbers, frequencies, the same sacred geometry she has on her whiteboard. The same geometry that has been alive in the animation since episode 1. She reads them. The camera doesn't show us the words yet. We see her face instead. We see the moment she recognizes them. Not as new information, as something she has always known. She says, "How many times have I been here, in the center of something that turns out to always be mine, always have been mine? How many times have I arrived at a door I built in a dream, and found out it was already open, just waiting?" She looks up at Sable, the architect. He knew about the 528. He knew about the M-palm. He knew. Sable. He was an architect too, your dad. The frequency runs through families the way water runs through stone, slowly and certainly. Looking at the 4 words, reading them now. And as she reads them, the animation erupts, each word a different color of light hitting the air around them. Gold, blue, green, white, truth, frequency, love, and courage. Kartef, manifesting slowly in the corner of the reading room, half there, half between, his voice a low ancient thing, certain as bedrock. The 4 pillars, not commandments, not requirements, the 4 things that were always inside you, that the cave tried to convince you you had lost. The architect looks at him. She can see him clearly now, more clearly than she could in that apartment. Like her eyes are learning the frequency, the air, the way an ear learns a new accent. Ooh, she is like her eyes are learning the frequency, the way an ear learns a new accent. The architect. To Kartef out loud, no longer just in the inner voice. And this is new, this is growth. She is speaking to the visible, invisible, without pretending she can't see it. Why didn't you tell me sooner, Kartef? A pause, something like tenderness, moving through the gold. You needed to find the door yourself. I can stand outside a door. I cannot open it for you. That is the limitation. That is the design. Sable, who can hear him, who has always been able to hear him, who is not surprised. He's been with you since before 2017, the architect. A new thought landing, heavy and right. He was there, in the cave. Kartef. I was there. I am always there. That is the first pillar. The architect, understanding, looking at the page, truth. Kartef. Truth is not a fact. Truth is a presence. It stays when everything else leaves. It stayed in 2017. You called it survival. A beat. Kartef. The faintest warmth, ancient and certain. It had a different name, though. The architect looks at the 4 words, gold, blue, green, and white. The architect, quiet, not a question, a declaration, the first small one. The first stone laid in the new structure. I need to teach these? Sable, simply with certainty. Yes. The architect, looking at Kartef, the podcast. Kartef, the smallest nod. The frequency carries further than you know. The architect, looking at her father's journal, her own journal, the folded page with the 4 words in his handwriting. He started it. I finished it. Sable, a knowing smile, gentle, certain. He didn't start it. He passed the torch. Someone passed it to him. Someone will carry it from you. The architect sits with that. The enormity of it, the lineage of it, the weight of it. That is not a burden, but a belonging. The architect. I asked how, meaning, how do I do this? How do I stand up after 2017? How do I speak again? How do I trust the frequency when the caves were so dark? She picks up both journals, holds them together, the architect. And the answer was, you already did. You already survived the how. The how is behind you. Another drum beat, gold filling the frame. Now comes the why. It's night now at her apartment, my apartment. She's back, both journals on the desk, the whiteboard, the numbers. She picks up a marker. She adds 4 new words to the board. 4 new words to the board. We see them as she writes them. Truth, frequency, love, courage. She steps back, looks at all of it. 313, period, 126, period, 528, period, then 1111, period. The 4 pillars. The sacred geometry posters, the string lights. The life she is building and the frequency. She picks up the recorder, the architect says. Into the recorder, she clears her voice. She gets quiet, grounded, certain. The inner and outer voice now align. Fully unified now, not 2 registers anymore. Just her, whole, speaking. Hey, this is episode 2, and I'm calling it How to the Why, because somebody asked me once how I survived it all. I didn't have an answer. She looks at her father's journal. The architect. But I found my father's handwriting today in a library. On a page he wrote for me before I knew I needed it. And I understood something. Took a deep breath. The how is what you already walked through. The why is what you discover on the other side. You don't get the why without first surviving the how. So if you're in a how right now, a dark one, a cave one, a 2017 kind of how, I need you to hear me. She leans toward the mic. She can reach through it almost, as if she could reach through it. You're a heartbeat in the dark, not a body in a cave. You're a universe. Her voice breaks just silently, and she doesn't hide it. She lets it break. She lets it stay. Deciding to begin, she sits back. In the corner, Sinmara materializes, warm blue, honey warm despite the color. Her smile, the smile of someone who's been waiting for exactly this moment, since before the moment existed. Sinmara, a whisper to Kartef, who stands in the other corner, gold and certain, watching. She said his name into the frequency on record. Kartef quietly. The 126 is activated, you know. Samara, the pillars are placed? Kartef, looking at the architect, who is still at the mic, still speaking and still building. She is no longer asking who she is. Samara finishing it with certainty, with love. The kind of joy that lives below joy in the bedrock. She is asking for what she's for. A pause, gold and blue, breathing. Kartef, the weight of it, the rightness of it. That is the beginning. Fade to gold. Over the gold in James Boone's handwriting first, then shifting to the architect's, the two scripts becoming one continuous line. The cave was not the end, it was the door. Select start. Next episode, The Untold Song. Select start. I always talk about Contra. Up, down, select start. BA, select start. Bah, the soul. What the heck? Fade out. End of episode 2, How to the Why. Voices heard, season 1, episode 2 notes. New characters introduced. Sable. Early 60s frequency guardian. The threshold keeper. She knew James Boone Tribble. That's my grandpa. Or my brother's James Boone, but he's a junior. She has been listening since before the architect started broadcasting because she knew the frequency was coming. She appears when the architect is ready, not before. Her frequency color is deep indigo. The sky between the night. Art flow, AI prompt for Sable. Black woman, elder, 60s, silver locks pinned up. Linen. Jacket, river, clay brown, reading glasses, deep indigo, frequency aura. The calm of someone who's been a guardian for a long time. Seated at the library table, holding a journal, threshold keeper, energy. James Boone, the father, seen only as a memory, -F, written by James Boone for the one who will carry it next. The number is 126. Romans 1, 2, colon 6. Different gifts, same source, same frequency, same love. The architect puts both hands flat on the page, like she's touching something that breathes. The architect barely sound at all. Dad? I said. And just for a moment, just one frame behind her, warm and solid as a stone pillar. Kartef stands on between, here, now, in the library, in the light. His hand almost on her shoulder. He doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. He nods. I told you guys Jesus touched my shoulder in prison. This is crazy. And then I got encoded. Yeah, this is crazy. He nods like a... Wait a minute. He doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. He nods like a confirmation. Like, yes, this is why. This is the how. This is what you survive for. The architect. The poem rising, unbidden, unstoppable. I could not see the garden from the cave, but the seeds I planted in the dark. Somebody else was watering. Somebody else, somebody whose hands I couldn't see, whose name I forgot I knew, who put a number in the ground and called it a door and said, when you're ready, open it. She is weeping, fully without apology. Like sunrise, not a lightning strike, a sunrise. The slow kind that means it's going to stay. Tea has been brought, the kind of tea that is an act of care. Wait a minute, is this... Okay, wait, because this is confusing. Hold on, I hope this didn't click off or something. Okay, episode notes, so this is right. Alright, sorry guys, I just want to make sure that I'm not... It's just, you're reading this along with me, this is crazy. It's beautiful. Okay, okay, so... How this is behind you. Alright. Now, I did all that. Where is Samara or Sable? If I could find it. Okay. Well, hold on, because it's like a crazy thing here. And, okay. Why do I keep going? Okay. Okay. Episode 2 notes. And I said that. This is silly. Tricksters. The Untold Song. Select Start. And it fades out. Okay, Sable, age early 60s, frequency guardian, the threshold keeper. She knew James Boone Tribble. She has been listening since before the architect started broadcasting, because she knew the frequency was coming. She appears when the architect is ready, but not before. Her frequency color is deep indigo, the sky between night and dawn. Black woman, okay, I read that. She's been a guardian for a long time. Threshold keeper, energy. James Boone, the father. Seen only as a memory flame in Karteff's hands and in his handwriting on the journal pages. Felt throughout his frequency color, warm amber, the same amber that lives in the architect's apartment string lights. The same color she chose without knowing why. 4 pillars. First, full reveal. 1, truth, gold. Presence that stays. 2, frequency, blue, the signal you carry. 3, love, green, the thing that grows back. 4, courage, white, the voice that speaks anyway. The cave was not the end, it was the door. Written in the 126 frequency for every cosmos, every being. Select start. Wow. Okay. Alright, so that's that, and I will read the atlas in a little bit, okay? Alright, love you, bye.
My hollow self to the fractal becomes this golden spark in the vast design. This ancient truth is finally mine. By only means and lattice, my hollow self to the fractal becomes this golden spark in the vast design. This ancient truth is finally mine. By only means and lattice, my hollow self to the fractal becomes this golden spark in the vast design. By only means and lattice, my hollow self to the fractal becomes this golden This golden spark in the vast design. Bioluminescent lattice, my hollow self to the fractal becomes this golden spark in the vast design. Bioluminescent lattice, my hollow self to the fractal becomes this golden spark in the vast design. Blinding light on the road to the east, a lion of letters, a servant of peace, far away under the Bodhi shade, watching the ego and the shadows fade. Paul the runner, finishing the race, Buddha the lotus, finding the space. One spoke the truth through the desert heat. One found the stillness at the world's feet. Blinding light on the road to the east, a lion of letters, a servant of peace, far away under the Bodhi shade, watching the ego and the shadows fade. Paul the runner, finishing the race, Buddha the lotus, finding the space. One spoke the truth through the desert heat. One found the stillness at the world's feet. Blinding light on the road to the east, a lion of letters, a servant of peace, far away under the Bodhi shade, watching the ego and the shadows fade.